Assalamu alaikum rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. This is Alex from Apocalypse.Intelligence. I'm about to release a four-part series called The Unjustified Torture of Students and Scholars for University Optics. Three parts of this series are going to be relating to Moravian College, known now as Moravian University, in Bethlehem, Pennsylvania, and their harms against multiple students and scholars, starting with my own case, stating myself as the author, as well as my best friend, who is still a professor at that university, whose name is redacted unless he wants to reveal it himself, because of the consistent harassment and malignment that he has suffered since 2011. Then, our final part of this series is going to be then focusing exclusively on Dr. Timothy Winters and his relationship with Cambridge Muslim College up in London that has been unfairly forcing him into covert mechanisms to speak to his own students. Much of the discrimination and much of the torture is actually gender-based. Now, in the United States, we have Title X, which prohibits discrimination based on gender by universities. I am actually not quite certain about the London United Kingdom rules on this matter, but gender or perceived gender should not be a reason to exclude anybody from speaking to a loved one. In my case, I was adopted from Germany when I was 2 years old. I have no close biological family that I was raised with, and the only person from my foster family that I'm in touch with is my grandma, who sees me as her grandchild no matter what, meaning that my only family happens to be my Sufi Tarika that has been there for me since 2009, 2010. Now, we have faced unlawful, globally prohibited religious discrimination, leading to poisoning, to torture, and to on-camera harms that are documented week after week, especially with Dr. Winters, who we have been able to track through the Apocalypse.Intelligence account through his own speech, talking to us individually, covertly, to express his own needs over the course of several months starting in September. There is no impropriety between us. However, there's a great deal of impropriety about the rumors surrounding us, the rumors surrounding myself and my best friend back at Moravian. I am not your gossip fodder, and the personal relationships of adults, if they have to be speculated on and they're thought of to be the worst, then know that that actually reflects more on the rumor giver than the actual targets of the rumor. Ask yourself this: why are these universities so invested in keeping these particular scholars from their particular loved ones? Why are we forced underground? Why are we forced into aliases to speak to each other, to avoid university censorship and further harms? These papers, these missives aim to expose those harms and prevent further harms from occurring. And hopefully with exposure, there will be correction. Outside of that, I did not indict any individuals, but the system itself. The individuals involved in these harms that have been mentioned only by title are clear in what they have done, and the lack of documentation and the lack of justification legally, reputationally, ethically, religiously, or practically in their actions against myself and those who we care about. A religious order is not yours to discriminate against. It's not for you to determine what religion is real, which one is true. That's not for me to determine either. However, what I can determine is that nobody, ever, should be tortured, maligned, or separated from their loved ones due to faith, due to ethnicity, due to origin, due to birth gender, due to any other mechanism, whether it be visually, culturally, or reputationally, that is inconvenient for the optics of an employer. Employers do not have the right to surveil, audit, or interfere with personal relationships, especially with those who are not under their jurisdiction, including graduated students, or in Cambridge Muslim College case, someone who is never ever a student and never will be. I'm a direct student of Dr. Timothy Winter. He is not property of Cambridge College. He is property of himself. My education under him for the past decade has had nothing to do with Cambridge, but actually a personal mentorship that was provided for me by my best friend at Moravian when he was prevented from mentoring me directly. The harms are compounding. They're not ending. And as they continue, that is what has led to these missives. Consider this a master's thesis. I was tortured in college for writing the physical theory of time and how it relates to mystical experience. Now, the chickens have come home to roost, and I've written another thesis, this time on the result of being tortured from my association with that same college. So with that being said, these papers speak for themselves. I have maintained my journals from those times. I have been asked not to share them in the documents. I will share a photograph of my degree and my verification of my graduation of both philosophy and religion departments, as well as my supporting documents for my international studies. I'm not scholarly, incompetent. I'm not unstable. I've been abused. I've been maligned. I've been insulted. And I've been separated from my closest support system.